It's Wednesday afternoon in Settle. It's a quieter day than some. Yesterday the market was on and that was really busy, but now it's late afternoon. But still there's a number of people around. Still some of the shops are doing takeaways. The chip shop just near me here in the square and the fisherman down the road as I walk down are both busy. Milano's is getting ready to serve out pizzas. And today I walked down to pick up a prescription from Boots, and the shops are open far more than they have been. Car and Kitchen is starting to get open, and one or two of the others as well. And it feels like things are starting to get back to, I was going to say normal, but what does normal look like anymore? As normal as they can be in the current times. Settle certainly is quite busy, people visiting on motorbikes and push bikes and other things. This evening in my evening prayer I was reading Psalm 127. Psalm 127 is one of those psalms of ascent where people look forward to getting to Jerusalem, to visiting the city of God, the place where God dwells, and to visiting God's house, the temple that Solomon built where God rested. Psalm 127 opens with these fabulous lines. Unless the Lord builds the house, the workmen labour in vain. Except the Lord watches over the city, the watchman watches in vain. It's a psalm that speaks of anxious toil, that we go to bed having eaten the bread of anxious toil, and sleep is difficult. The psalm speaks of the vanity, I suppose, of trying to do things in our own name or in our own strength. And it just struck me as we come out of lockdown, when we first went into it, we started saying to one another what we thought was important. We began to value our friendships, our community, our people, our family, the people close to us that we deeply missed. Now things are starting to get back. Now shops are beginning to open. I saw in the papers yesterday long queues at Primark in one of the cities, I don't know where. But seeing the shops open again just reminds me that unless we commit this to God, unless God sits over our towns and our cities, unless we cover it with a veil of prayer, then we will be forever anxious. Then this will be a difficult time for us. Then we're building on a foundation of our own consumer desires and not on the hope of the gospel, not on a hope for a better society, a better place, the kind of place that we talked about when we were locked down in the first place, that we really wanted to build and that we missed. Psalm 127 says, look, commit all that you have to God. Let God build the house. Build it on a foundation of hope, of faith, of community. When you open, when you admit people in, when you allow people, then treat them in God's way of love and community and service. Let's build a house where love can dwell, where all may safely live, we sang on Sunday. And so as we come back to communities, we begin to open shops again, as we try and get things back to normal, can we try and leave out the things that we wanted to leave behind, that we were glad we didn't take into lockdown? And perhaps we can bring forward with us only those things that we value, those things that we love, and we meet here those people that we love and value too. Philippians 4 verse 7 says this, don't be anxious about anything, not our labour, our toil, the bread of anxious toil, as Psalm 127 says. Be anxious about nothing, it says, but by prayer and supplication let your requests be known to God. Cover it with prayer, let God guard the city. And the consequence of that is remarkable. The consequence of that is a peace that passes all understanding. And Philippians 4 verse 7 says, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and minds, just as it says in Psalm 127, let God guard the city. And so we commit this time to God, we commit this place to God, and we ask him to cover it in his grace and his love. Amen.